Hey guys, so it's just me this episode, and I haven't been by myself in a little bit. I have been with some friends and interviewing them, which has been super cool. But I also did rebrand a little bit. We switched up the name to the Sunday Diary. I was kind of contemplating this because the old name was Blonde with a Pod, which we love her. That was a very cute name, but also I am not in my bleach blonde, platinum blonde phase so much anymore. But I changed it to the Sunday Diary because this is kind of like a diary thing where it's recordings and videos of just me trying to be myself and also help you guys and try to also help myself in just what I want to talk about and how I feel like I can help people because at the end of the day, I just like posting videos so people feel maybe less alone or they just have someone to listen to if they need that. So, anyways, yeah, it's the Sunday Diary because Sunday is a day that's very important to me. It is a day that you go to church, it's a day for rest, it's a day for reflection and just remembering why we are here, why we are able to do what we can do, especially when I'm going through stressful times and I'm thinking that my issues are bigger than myself. I remember that there is someone to take those and um, just unburden me from my stress and anxiety because those are not from me. My emotions are not who I am. And we all struggle with some kind of emotion that maybe just weighs us down. And I think something that really helps is just looking to something bigger, remembering that you're here for a reason. And really, I think I've just been trying to practice mindfulness. That's another thing is really being grateful for where I'm at because where I am is where I'm supposed to be. And it's really all prayers that have been answered. I've prayed so many times to be exactly where I am right now. And also, there are probably so many people who have prayed to be in a position where I am right now as well. And just remembering that really helps ground me that I didn't get this far just to come this far, that there's so much more ahead to be done. There is things to look forward to. And I think this goes into the theme of this video is just feeling stuck, feeling like you can't get out of this phase of life, that there are things holding you back, that maybe there's things you believe about yourself or that you think other people believe about you that is limiting you from being successful, from becoming the person you want to be. And obviously, for me, religion and faith is a huge part of my journey in trying to go forward in my career path, in my relationships, in my friendships, in just how I want to live my life because obviously after college and everything, you're given so many decisions and so many choices that literally can affect the rest of your life. You can decide one day to move across the world. You can decide one day to quit your job and build a business. I mean, not like those things can be done in one day, but a decision can be made that you want to do those things. And even just desiring those things in itself is a decision to pursue that, I think. And things can change, but only if you want them to change. And that is also something I've learned that if you want something, you also have to go after it. So the first part of getting out of being stuck is wanting to be unstuck. Just being here is a miracle in itself, and life is a gift. And the fact that you've come this far means that really anything is possible. You've done, I'm assuming, all the work to get to where you are, even just going through every day with your head up and trying to make it to the next day, I would say is an accomplishment in itself. So I think recognizing that you're stuck and practicing gratitude for how far you've come is going to help you into that next season of life of preparing yourself for the next thing. And you might not know what the next thing is. You might have an idea of what that might look like. And for me, I'm in my early 20s. There's so much that can change. There's so much that I probably don't know is coming, but I'm trying my best to like be where I am and be happy where I am so that I can really accept blessings that come into my life, or things that I've prayed for and that I'm going to receive by the grace of God. Because also, if you don't ask, then you won't receive either. Also, super random, but I do have my hair in this like slick back ponytail, and I feel seen because Kylie Jenner just rebranded or branded this slick back without the part. And throughout college, I was always trying to get this like very clear, clean part with both, sides of my hair like very slicked back, but so that you could see like a clean line in the middle. And I'm feeling heard, I'm feeling seen, and I'm also very glad that she's made it a thing. I mean, it's always been a thing, but I feel like just not having to do the extra step of getting the part in. I feel like some people it comes so naturally to, where their hair just kind of goes to each side and then it like slicks back like so, you know, so clean and just so tight. Um but yeah, I just wanted to speak on my hairstyle for a little bit. You know what? Going along with that, I have been trying to focus less on my looks, which I think is a huge thing that everyone probably struggles with, some kind of like self image issue or comparing themselves to others. And sometimes I just wish that things about me were different, that I mean, I just came back from Miami, but I was looking at my face today and I was like, I didn't really get that tan. I wish that I had gotten a little bit more color, but being in Miami is a blessing, is such an amazing experience. Getting to be on the beach, just people watching, was probably one of my favorite experiences. So, trying to not want to change things about myself has also been a struggle. And then also, I have been trying to trust God more with just emotions and not relying so much on medication. And I think that's a journey that I'm just going to have to keep figuring out myself and keep praying about it. But that is not an easy thing when you've been relying on something for so long. And, I feel like I'm at a place where I can do this, but, a year ago or 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't be experimenting with going off of things and trying to be like natural. Also, I think I've been trying to be okay with being uncomfortable, realizing that if you're comfortable and everyone around you is saying yes and agreeing with what you're doing, then you're doing it wrong. And I wouldn't say that you should be making decisions that are actively making people upset or hurting them, but if there isn't any resistance, then something is wrong. There has to be some kind of uncomfortability for you to grow. And that's also a lot easier said than done, because I also realized during my trip that I booked for myself, kind of like last minute, to Miami to be on the beach, just get some sun in, that I really am a grounded homebody, that I love routine. I love being in a space that is very comfortable and familiar to me. And it was uncomfortable, but also I was on vacation, so I wouldn't say that's like a good example of pushing yourself to be uncomfortable. But I think that when you try to live, if you make ordinary decisions, you're going to have an ordinary outcome. And I don't know if you can tell, I've been trying to become more motivated in what I listen to and what I read. And I think over the past couple months, I have been really honed in on this goal that I've been trying to achieve in terms of career growth and life change and life transition, because I have been in the same spot for the past 2 years. I mean, geographically, I have been living with my parents for the past 2 years. And then also, I've been comfortable, I would say, in terms of I have friends here, I have a home base here. I don't have to travel a lot. I go to the same place for work, and I am with people who also, are from here, and it is a very comfortable setting. It has allowed me to, I would say, thrive and to have a very positive experience here, but also I don't want to have that forever if it's something bigger is meant to happen, if God has bigger plans. And I think when God puts something on your heart that he calls you to do, and this you see this in Exodus when he knows Moses is capable of kind of being like a, I guess, spokesperson for him. I think that's an example of God really seeing something in someone that they might not even see themselves. I think Moses was very reluctant to speak to the people of Israel, probably did not think that he was an excellent public speaker. You know, there wasn't many like college public speaking courses. I also didn't take any, which I don't know if that was just out of pride and I'm like, I don't need a public talking course because I know how to talk to people. I talk publicly every single day, like I'm on camera. Um I just never did that in college, but I did hear very positive experiences from people in it. I also never took a wine class. I feel like that was such a thing of like a wine tasting class. I don't know if your school had that, but didn't do that either. Maybe I just took boring classes, I don't know. But getting back to this idea of like pushing out of your comfort zone, it's something that I don't think you'll do until you're kind of forced into it, is what I've realized. It's not until you become in that stuck season or that stuck mentality of realizing something needs to change. Otherwise, if you're not feeling stuck, it feels like you're moving forward, but really, I think you can feel like you're moving forward, but really you're just in the same place times just moving forward with or without you, I guess. There's a TikTok of a really famous baseball player. It might be Shohei Ohtani. I'm not sure which one, but he made this like elaborate graph stemming from this one goal that he wanted to reach, which was maybe to become the best baseball player or be in the MLB. But he then segmented out each action that he would have to take to get to that goal. And then that action had its own action stemmed off of it that would contribute to that thing. So it became this like spider web of behaviors and actions that would ultimately contribute to getting to the goal. And I think I've also done a similar thing where you make a wheel and in the middle is your goal. In the, I guess it kind of looks like a sun. It's like a circle and then lines coming out of it. And in between each line, you can go around and say things that would contribute to the goal or things that you know are possible and therefore are possible for you. So if my goal in the middle, and I think when I was watching the TikTok, it was something along the lines of wanting to find a roommate you're compatible with and move out. Because the example was the person didn't like who they were living with. They felt stuck in the place or apartment they were at. They were not happy. They wanted to move out, wanted to find someone new to live with, and therefore increase them enjoying where they live. So I guess in the middle, you would put, I have a new apartment and a new roommate that I get along with. And then whatever section you want to start off with, you just kind of go clockwise. So in one of the sections, I think you start very generic and broad. So you could say, I know there are people out there who I get along with and I'm compatible with because I've met them before. And God has given me lots of great friends. Therefore, He can give me an amazing roommate or person to live with. And then go to the next one and get like a little bit more specific and be like, I know there are apartment rentals in my area that have been posted on a website that I've been checking, and therefore there must be one that I think is suitable to live in and that I could see myself enjoying. Then you could get more specific and be like, I I know my roommate also wants to move out too, and I know we can have a conversation about it, or I will have a conversation about it. And I can do that by texting her tomorrow morning and praying about it. And I do like to incorporate, faith in it. And also, I know sometimes it can be very vague or broad of like, well, the universe can give me this or that. I think coming from a Christian perspective, you can be specific to God and Bible verses and just really show yourself that it's happened in the text, it's happened in history. Therefore, God is going to show up again. It can happen for you where someone's life is transformed, someone is taken out of darkness, out of a very deep and dark place, and be lifted up into a place of being given riches and splendor and all that stuff. And yeah, I think that by affirming that this has happened before, that this has happened to people who are real and it's been documented in the Bible and the text is just a very comforting thing to me. And maybe it would be to you. So I think looking into that too, of like verses or stories, biblical stories that apply to your life, is helpful as well. There's so many things that I could also say about feeling stuck and getting out of that feeling of that things are going to stay the same. I think there's like a lot of mental change you have to go through. There's a lot of belief, there's a lot of trust. I think those are probably the hardest things to have when you're feeling stuck. And it's trusting that God knows what's best for you. God has you in a season of where you need to be, that nothing is by chance, that everything is intentional. And I know that there's a lot of people in pain and in terrible situations, and that nobody is deserving of that. Um, and people are not, we are humans, we are not born without sin. We are sinful people, and there is sin in this world. And that is so hard to come to terms with, that not everyone wants the best for you. And I mean, luckily, there is someone who does want the best for you, and he's merciful, he's caring, he is who gave you life, who made you. So I think reminding yourself that things are going to get better, things are going to change. In fact, it's impossible for things to stay the same. There is no 2 days that are identical, there's no 2 moments that are identical, therefore, things have to change. And I think when I was having lots of thoughts about the future and things that I wanted, or I wasn't sure if it's something I wanted, but maybe it was, I kept a notebook next to me at work and also in my bag. So when I'm out, I have something to write things down in, especially if it's a random idea of, what if I tried this? What if I reached out to this person? What if I read this scripture or looked into this group or tried to find these resources? I think I would just get lots of ideas of how to build my future. And if I didn't have anywhere to write them, they absolutely would have escaped my mind. And I have this journal of just things I've written the past 6 months of how I can get to this next step in this next season. And it also includes me asking for these things too and praying about it, because again, if you don't make your desires known to God, how is he supposed to know? He knows your thoughts inside and out, but you're not asking him for permission to receive these things. You're not asking for his help. If there's no relationship, then it's going to be a one-sided relationship. So I also think I've been trying to know it's okay to not know what you want. And that is such a frustrating, uncomfortable feeling. Even if it's like, I don't know what I want to do this weekend. I mean, that's a very like low stakes situation where it's like, okay, you can figure it out. But then imagine like a future decision. I don't know if I want to live here. I don't know if I want to talk to this person. I don't know if I want to continue a friendship or a relationship. Those are much bigger decisions. And a lot of times, like almost all of the time, they're not wait, all the time they're not in your control, like fully in your control, but you obviously have some room to make decisions and influence the outcome. And I've also just been learning that there is so much I'm not in control of, and that's okay. Anyways, so you're stuck. Putting myself back in the shoes of the person watching this, you're stuck. You know you want something bigger, you know you want something better, you know you want to get out of that house, out of that apartment, you want to live with someone new, you want to live by yourself, you want a new friend group. Okay, so first, accepting not everything's in your control. This requires faith, trust, and belief that things will get better, but knowing that this is not guaranteed to happen within any sort of timeline. This timing is way out of your control. It is no one's timing but God's. And also, there's this Kerry Washington clip, which is so good. It's like you have to pray to catch the bus, and then you have to run and catch the bus. You can't just pray to catch the bus, and you can't just run to catch it. You have to do both. So you have to set the intention, ask for the thing that you want, ask for permission to receive it, and then you have to do the steps after that, because I think people always do one or the other. They try to rush into things without intention, or they just ask for it but never act on it, because we do have free choice, free will, and we do have influence over things that happen a month from now, a year from now. It's all going to stem from the choices and the decisions and the thoughts that you have that will influence the rest of your life. So that's scary. But once you come to that realization, then I think this is like the brainstorming phase of, how do I make this happen? How do I get unstuck? What do I have to do? And this probably will happen in various stages. I'm not saying this is like in a week where it's like, okay, you make the goal, you do the actions, you figure out the habits and the systems, which I'm also reading Atomic Habits. It talks lots about systems and habits and how that is more important than the actual goal. It's building those habits. It's building a lifestyle that feels natural to you, so that you don't have to have the motivation. It's the discipline over the motivation. So I think one of the greatest things that we have is the internet and phones and computers. And there's just so much out there that you can look up. There's like a link or a page for almost every scenario. There are people who are in your position right now. There's people who are asking for help on different forums. And I'm not saying like you should immediately jump to Reddit, but there have been people in this situation. There's definitely been people who've posted about it, who've posted articles about it. There's so much that you can look into about figuring out what resources you can take advantage of. And I think that this does not have to be like a sit down, like plan my life out for the next couple hours. I know that that oh, Quentin Tarantino, I literally looked at the poster right next to me because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is right next to me. I don't support Quentin Tarantino, but there was like that Joe Rogan interview, and I'm sounding so like I'm sounding weird, but there's the Joe Rogan interview where Quentin Tarantino was like, I was working in the Blockbuster store and I was working with a bunch of people who didn't have higher aspirations, and then he would have this like no excuses night where it's stay up all night and you have no excuses. You have to figure out your life, figure out what's going on, and plan for the future, or try to figure out how you're going to become that person you want to be. And I feel like I've had like moments where I'm like, oh, I should do that, but it's just not realistic, especially if you're working 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. You can't just pull an all-nighter and be like, this is everything I'm going to do in the next year, blah blah blah. So yeah, figure out how you're going to do this. What I do is I take little increments of the day where I'm scrolling and I turn that into productive scrolling, because if I'm scrolling, it might as well be consuming content that is about things that I actually want to learn about. So trying to like actively seek out information. do so many Google searches in a day about, you know, what to do in this situation, how to approach this, how do I prepare? Like, how do I prepare? And obviously, there's the trusting part, but then there's the doing. So that's like the pray to catch the bus, but then you run to catch the bus kind of thing. And I think when once you realize that your phone is a tool, that you aren't just chained to whatever social media platform you're on. So like switch it up, go to maybe a platform that has a little bit more of informational, educational content, go on the news app, go on, I don't know, the Bible app, go on maybe a certain like academic website, who knows. So that helps me, I think, because I if I don't learn, then I'm never going to actually change my ways. I feel like I'm just going to keep doing the same thing. And learning from just experience is awesome, but then also having done the research is going to help as well. And then in terms of habits and sleep and stress and nutrition, I think if you're at a place where you can really hone in and control those things, and you work like a normal job where you're not up at late hours and you have the time to pack a nutritious lunch, and you also, I don't know, like there's a lot of things that go into that not everyone is going to be able to get good sleep, get good nutrition. Like there's just so much, but I think those can't hurt if you drink water, eat good, sleep good, have like supportive people around you. That's awesome. If you can like optimize those little parts of your life, not to speak super like business lingo, but if you can just optimize those so that you are checking off the boxes of just like basic physical health and mental health, if you have the resources, if you can go to a counselor, therapist, whoever, talk to someone, that's great too. And then while you're in this process of taking care of yourself and then setting goals for the future and praying about it, you will see some sort of progress, whether that's just fully mental, whether your mindset changes and you realize how capable you are and how strong you are. That will happen, or just the way that you think about yourself. Like there's so much that can change from just doing those routines and doing that planning here and there, doing that research here and there. Something I do is I talk about my plans with friends and family, I think, to a certain degree, where I say, oh yeah, when I do this, or like there's things that I kind of speak about like they're going to happen, because worst comes to worst, you're wrong, but the best outcome, you're right, and you're heading into something with full confidence. You're speaking about yourself like you deserve it. And being wrong is embarrassing sometimes, but it's also human. There's just no way you can be right about everything, especially the future. And I'd rather have that moment of embarrassment than miss out on something because I didn't fully believe in myself or speak to other people like I believed in myself. Because you're your own biggest advocate. There's not going to be a person by your side every day being like, oh yeah, she's going to do this and this. She's amazing. Like she's done so much work. It would be great if we all could have our personal cheerleader just yapping about us. But unfortunately, you have to be that for yourself. And even if you don't shut up about it, I think a lot of successful people are like that, and I lean towards that side a little bit more, where I'm a little bit delusional, but there's also the trusting that things will work out. And if people don't get the vision, they don't get the vision, okay? I think some of our worst fears are being wrong, looking like you're a fool, or embarrassing yourself. And it's like we're not always promised more time here. So might as well do something that you think is worth doing and looking a little bit cringe than regretting it. And also, we all learn like from mistakes or decisions. I think you just have to see what feels good and what feels right. And how are you going to know what feels good if you don't try different avenues of pursuing different things or living like in a way that that you feel like best fits your truth. Oh, also, I think something that was interesting is throughout this whole journey of trying to break free from my stuckness, I tried not to rely on caffeine so much, which is so random, but sometimes caffeine just makes things worse when you especially when you get over like the standard serving size, recommended serving size. Don't go too crazy on the caffeine because there's a reason why they recommend certain levels of caffeine. Don't go too crazy on the drinking. So, something I need to do is get a new memory card because it's getting kind of old having to do the rest of my video on my camera. I was talking about drinking, and there's nothing good that comes from it. I've realized, like, I will die on this hill that nobody needs alcohol. You don't need it. I'm not saying that you need to cut it completely out of your life, but if you think that there's any single ounce of goodness that comes from drinking, you're wrong. Maybe you feel a little bit more socially comfortable, but it is not better than actually working on yourself and feeling uncomfortable because that's how we're meant to feel. We're not supposed to suppress emotions, we're not supposed to get rid of them. We are meant to go through them, especially being socially anxious, socially uncomfortable. I think it just grows you and builds you. And I think using alcohol as a cheat code is very scary because you can become dependent on it for social situations, for feeling like you need to escape and feel better about your day or about your week. So, obviously, those are my thoughts on alcohol. I feel like people already probably knew that that's how I felt. Did I mean, I had like a glass of champagne or no, prosecco, I don't know, something in Miami because I mean, I like the way it makes me feel. However, do I feel like it actually provided any incremental positives in the moment or the moments following? No. No incremental success. There was a negative ROI from that. So it's whatever. I also have been trying to record more things because I was talking about how one of the greatest things we have is a tool that can help us record memories and look back on things and give us access to all this information of stuff that we can use to improve our lives. So I've been trying to like I'm not trying to be on my phone more, but I'm trying to capture moments more because you can always delete them if there's a video you took and you're like, why did I take that? That's not like it wasn't a good angle. It wasn't a good, didn't really capture the moment. Like you're saying happy birthday to your friend, and then the camera dips, and then it's just like you can't hear anything, it's muffled. You can always delete it, but you know what you can't do? You can't replay the moment, go back in time, and take a video of you saying happy birthday to your friend. I think happy birthday videos are very important also. Take a video of your family member blowing out their candles because that's so cute. And birthdays are so fun. Celebrating a lap around the earth, very fun. Take the video of someone blowing out the candles, even though I feel like the other person's always like, no, don't post that. I don't look good. You know what looks good is celebrating with your friends and family. And if you're not, take a video of yourself blowing out the candles. I hope everyone deserves to blow out the candles on their birthday. Oh my gosh. I'm going to get emotional just thinking about it because there's people who genuinely don't get to blow candles out on their birthday. I'm going to end the video here. So, Let me know what you thought. I feel like the Sunday Diary is getting off to a very good start. I feel like maybe you can tell I've been doing this work behind the scenes, just personally and mentally, just trying to grow since I last posted by myself. So yeah, you're not alone. I hope everyone is feeling a little bit more motivated, a little bit more eager to just get at it, do the things that they want to do, and pursue their what you feel like is best for you. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next episode.